Okay, we're going to look at some portrait photography. In the studio I have several flashes. I'm just going to kind of go over flash real quick to show you how to adjust flash. On the back of this flash, for example, we have an older style flash and it has a dial. If I put it all the way down to 1/30th second of a second, it's at the lowest power and this is at the fullest power, hence full. I can hit this button and hit test. Okay. So that's how you turn that up and down. It's the actual flash is not making it brighter, it's just longer in the scene. So this is 1/32nd of a second versus a full second in the scene. That's how flashes work. To adjust this lamp, you can just turn this. You can also tip it. This is an ambient light beauty dish, which is basically light on a convex mirror that gets broadcast out onto this surface. This is actually a bird bath, and that's a toilet ring, but yeah, that's a beauty dish. On here, there's a Pocket Wizard Plus. And what happens is this Pocket Wizard goes into the audio jack on the back. It's a phono jack, just like this. All flashes have this phono jack. And by hitting test, it should go off. The on-off button for the Pocket Wizard is located right here. On this side, we have a different type of flash. It's the same type, but it's a different model. And if you look on the back of it, there's a lot more buttons. These turn up the lamps, the physical lamps that you can see that are static like this. So the brightness of this. But this turns up and down the power of the flash. Okay. So again, full flash. This eye indicates that if that one goes off, this one will also go off. It sees the light and then goes into this round orbital doohickey on the back, and it sees that flash and sets off the flash. The musical instrument tells me the succinct property on, like, let's say if I'm shooting a client, I know my flashes are ready again. I know my flashes are ready again. 1, 2, 3. So you can pace yourself that way. Okay. This one over here is a softbox. That one has the ability to become a softbox. So if you ever want to put the softbox back on it, you can just unlock it, twist, and then you can put the softbox on and then twist. Be careful, this gets warm when it's on. It's because the lamp is on. Right now I'm not using the lamp, so I could turn it off. Now you'll see the lamp off. So now it won't get as warm. Make sure you lock these after you put the different heads and never touch the bulb with your fingers. The oil from your fingers will make the bulb fragile and it could explode. Okay, so you notice I have a light over here that shines on my head model. I got one here that's shining on her hair. And then I got this softbox thing. This one, it doesn't really, you don't need this because the flashes will overtake everything in the scene. So what I have here is my camera, and it's set to a very set property on it. So 200 frames to 200 over f8, f7.1. So I can go from 7.1 to 8 to 9, but I would highly suggest you stay within the 200 7.1, and if you have older flashes, 160. The ISO is always to be set very low when you're taking portrait photography. I'm going to turn on live view on this Nikon 7100, just so you can see what's going on. Now, you don't adjust the actual camera. You adjust the lighting in the scene. So if I take a shot and I find that the flashes are unflattering, or I have shadows in the scene, it is the movement of the flash, not the actual adjustment of the camera. So let's say I set this one back further. What I'm looking for are these shadows and how unflattering they look. I can adjust my ambient light, this light right here, to give off more light in the scene if I wanted to. And it will wipe these shadows out. But eventually it'll get so bright that there's not enough shadows. Or get washed out looking. So that light right there, the hair light, is what's causing a lot of shadows on the scene. And it might be better to shoot it out with a softbox instead. But that looks really nice now. Now the face is washed out, so I could turn down my ambient light. Again, it's this constant adjusting until you get something that's just amazing to look at and has all the details, like in the nose area. Right here, it's got a little bit of detail right there, but if I went to turn this down one skosh, I might get a little bit more detail in the nose. I find this plastic model kind of hard to shoot, which is really great because if I can get the details to show up, the human skin shows up really nice. So there I got the detail of the nose and this side too without any shadows. And there's no shadows underneath the chin. Cool. That's portrait photography. There's all kinds of experimentation with this, and you can see just based upon this poster right here, there's so many different configurations for it. There's a strobe with honeycomb, and that's what's out there, and I have a softbox out there. So in the assignment, I have you doing a certain amount of these different configurations. Okay. So pretty easy. This is just 101 of portrait photography, mind you. But feel free to play around a little bit. You know, I mean, there's no 100% right answer, but I just want to make sure that you know how to adjust the flashes, how to set them back, forward, how to turn them on, how to trigger them. It's very important that the pocket wizards are on there and you see that red 1 light up. If you can't do that, your batteries are dead. Or the power isn't turned on, or that's it. Always shoot in autofocus. And later on, when you get really good, you can start doing this maneuver. Say I like those eyes. Okay. You can click autofocus, and while it's clicked, you reel this dial. And you notice there you got AFS, AFS, ASFF, and S. So I'm going to put it on AFA. And on the front dial, I have this. D9, D21, 3D, Auto, 5, and D9. I'm going to put it on 5. And 5 gives me a little tiny box. It won't show here except for a little dot. And what that dot allows me to do is aim at the eyes, press this to lock it, move it off to the side, and shoot. Now the focus is always on the eyes. In other words, I can autofocus it to an eye. I can hold this, move it way down here, and take my shot with this still held down. And the focus is always on the eye. This is how you gain a composition. Alright, so that's kind of an advanced trick. But if you feel like you want to try it out and you can't get it, let me know and I can show you hands-on. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the studio.